welcome to my latest adventure. I arrived here yesterday after evening, and where am I? It's Lac De Villedon. It's just north of Limoges in central France. It's around 6.5–7 hour drive from Calais. I had a bit of fun getting here yesterday, I have to be honest. Left my house about 5 o'clock in the morning, ready for the ferry. Got to the ferry at 8 o'clock, that was all fine. And then sort of hit Calais around, I'm trying to think now, 11 French time, 10 UK. And it should have been about 6.5–7 hour drive. But there was an accident on the A1 just on the outskirts of Paris, and my sat-nav decided to take me through the suburbs of Paris. Oh joy. So I got here around 6:30 local time. If you can range it with the owner of the lake if you want to, because it's a bit of a drive to come on the Friday evening, long as you're here before 5–6 o'clock, and then you can camp in the car park. Set your bivvy and bed chair up, have some food in the restaurant on site, and then crash out. And then you're all recharged, ready to go Saturday. You're down here, you've got all that out the way, and you can crack on, load all your gear up in the boat, and then head off to your swim. Most people probably heard of Villedon, but if you haven't, like I say, it's just north of Limoges, and it's in a sort of a valley, and there's lots of different farmers' fields that join onto the backs of the lake, so you can't actually get around the perimeter of the lake. You have to go from the facilities, the clubhouse. There's a boat dock there, a load of hard boats for each swim, and basically you've got to put all your gear in that and then chuck off down to your swim. And I was really lucky. I just made it before he was all going to close up. There'd been a bit of a comms issue, and he thought I'd cancelled. And I was meant to be actually in swim 8 opposite me on the far side, but 2 Belgian lads left here yesterday evening at 8 o'clock, a day early, luckily. So I moved in here, and this is meant to be a double or triple swim, so I've got plenty of water, plenty of scope. I've got a nice bay to my right, and then a load of water out in front of me. It's probably one of the widest points on the lake, probably a good 250–300 yards across. Obviously it was late by the time they'd left at around 8, and I got down here with all the gear and set up and whatever. It must have been around 9:30–10 o'clock, and then obviously had to go and find spots for the rods. So I had a quick lead around, and I put just a little sprinkling of bait, not too much with a throwing stick, just to see what the fish would do, showing that. Out in open water, so I put 3 out in open water, 2, like I say, with a little sprinkling of bait, 1 just basically on its own, just a snowman presentation with a little stick, just cast into the middle basically, and then 1 in this bay to my right here. And really lucky having the bonus night and that, and I got off to the mark early hours this morning at 1 o'clock, the 37 mirror on the one which was chucked out into the middle on its own with no bait around it. I've opened up my account. First night, first fish. Man, did it beat me up. Must have been playing it a good 20–30 minutes, just kept going and run after run after run. Being a long, shallow lake, it's just going on big, long runs. Can't go down deep because it's, the depth isn't there. What it can do is charge off on epic ones. They spawned about 3 or 4 times in the last month, but I not really care about the weight, but 37.5. I'm happy with that. Let's see if I can get it up. There you go. Falling to a 80mm complex and a 14mm hit and run yellow barrel wafter, chucked into a cast to the old river that they've got here. It's like a riverbed going straight down the middle, about 80 yards out, just on its own, little PVA stick, no bait or anything like that. It's just first night, so not sure what I'm fishing over. Let them clear it up and show me where they are, and then I can establish some spots and that. It's taken me about 14 hours in total, door to door, to get here, so absolutely knackered, to be honest. But yes, first fish of the trip, 37.8. Yeah, mega. So yeah, happy days. I'm on. I've already got a fish under my belt, so I can't blank. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the week ahead. It's going to be hot and sunny, so day bites might be few and far between. I guess it's going to be night bites and early morning, maybe the odd mid-morning bite, I guess, before they they get too hot and they've had enough, like the rest of us probably. So yeah, just thought it. So that's day one basically. Okay, so it's day two, Sunday. I'll just give you, I guess, an update of how the session's progressing. Obviously, there's quite a lot of crayfish in these sort of lakes. This is obviously got a stream running through it and that, so there's only so much they can do to control them. So obviously I'm using hard hook baits, they're wrapped as well, but still you've got to check them. So this morning I checked the rods between sort of 6 and 7 o'clock this morning. 2 of them were still fishing and 2 weren't. All I had was the wraps left, the plastic rings around the baits. So it was good that I checked. The rods have been out about 12 hours, so I got all 4 rods back out again, sort of like I say, between 6 and 7 o'clock this morning, and that paid off as well, because 2 hours later on one of those recast rods had this lovely common, 38 pounds on one of the baited up spots. Let's have a look at the common, shall we? Now it's day 2, fish number 2. A bit of an angry one. Let's see if we can hold him up for the cameras. So he's a bit lively. Let's see if he'll play the game, shall we? Same tactics as before, and a lovely 38 common off one of me baited up spots, so it gives me hope for the rest of the week, as the first one was a sort of opportunity fish really. This one's come off a baited area, so yeah, so that was a lovely looking fish, but as you can tell it was a bit feisty. Weren't too pleased to see me, so decided to slip it back. Rather an angry fish, eh? But yeah, no, I was glad to at least. That was the first fish that I caught off one of the baited spots. So I'm hoping that maybe that will do me some more fish now. Since that fish, while I was getting the rod sorted out, I see another show out there. And then about an hour or 2 later I see another one, but it's gone quiet now. I've not seen a lot. There was a group of fish in the bay to me right spawning, so we left them to it. Didn't fish in that bay and that. I've just been fishing out in open water for any fish that are feeding. They should be done now, most of them. I think that's the fifth time that they've spawned in the last month or something like that, so I think it must have been the last of the stragglers that hadn't got it done. So I guess really what I should probably do is sort of just sort of go through what attracts me to Villedon, why I'm here. I think it's sort of one of those waters that are sort of in the middle. it is commercial, you pay for your swims and so on, but it's quite a large water. It's still a bit of a challenge, so it's one of those intermediary, shall we say, a bit like the Great Lake or Etang 5. We can't fish that anymore, and like I say, Villedon's another one of those that I quite like. It's commercially run, but it's a large water, plenty of space, natural swims, good head of fish, so that's sort of, you know, one of the reasons why I'm here. The big common's called the Beast, and I think that's around £70–75. And then the Mirror, funnily enough, he's called Daisy for people who know me back in the UK. That's a fish I've been chasing the last few years, and I caught that last summer. And that got when they had a drain down over the winter, and that came out, and that, obviously they were checking all the fish and the weights, and that was £80 at the drain down. I think the biggest it's been caught is upper 70s, but the winter just gone, January 2020, that was 80 ounces. So although obviously they've all spawned, so obviously the fish won't be that weight at the moment, but I don't care. You know. Just, yeah, I enjoy being here. Like I say, it's all natural. It's about 100 acres, give or take, 100-acre lake, around 900 to 1,000 fish, so good head of fish. I say a couple of real good ones as well. I'll have to find out later on and speak to the owner, Dutch Paul, how many sort of 40s, 50s, 60s there are. But, I think it's got a good head of them. And like I say, I'm lucky as well. I was meant to be opposite, and I'm now in here, which is a triple swim. You know, I've got this on my own, 4 rods spread out, but this is a triple swim, so you know, you could have 12 rods in here. Plenty of options. And we'll just have to see. Like I say, it's day 2, so 6 nights to go. Let's see what happens. Nothing happened last night. I really thought something would, but thankfully pulled one out of the bag in the mid-morning, so that's all right. And let's see how it goes. Oh, isn't that a lovely mirror? 37 on the nose. I don't know if you can see it in the camera, all the little pin scale along its rest of its tail, and those couple of big scales on its shoulder. Lovely mirror. And it came to my other baited spot, so both spots producing now. I'm happy about that. Complex T, 18mm wrapped, and a 14mm complex T. Pink wafter, orange wafter even. Wiped out one of the other rods, so a bit of a pain, but we got there. Oh, yeah. What a cracking lovely fish. Let's get her back, eh? Yes, sir. Right, boys and girls, so onto the bait section. It'll be nice and short and sweet for this trip. Not too much to cover. So we'll start on the pellet first. So it's the Coppins Premium Select 8mm pellets that I've been using. I bought a 25 kilo sack. As you can see, there's not much left of it. That's the pellet front, so, because there's quite a lot of crayfish in here and that, so I've been spomming that out. Obviously it breaks down, turns into mush and that, and obviously the crayfish are going to have a problem with it, but there's still a scent of food for the fish, so that's the idea, the thought logic in my head anyway. And then on the boilie front, you can see that good old Complex T in, we've got 10 kilos of 18, 10 kilos of 15. These are the freezer range, I prefer freezers, and they've got a bait freezer here, so perfect. And then I have also got 10 kilos of red ammo as backup, you know, if I go for all this bait, Then I have got some ready-mades. I could have brought 30 kilos of complex tea with me, but I didn't. I thought I'll bring some red ammo. And then finally, sweet corn. Just bought a few tins. Literally been putting half a tin in a day. That's all. Just a little sprinkling in the spom, and then I've been using the yellow wafters, little tipped snowman with a yellow wafter on 2 out of the 4 rods. So that's obviously the reason for the sweet corn. There is a particle ban on here, but it does allow a small amount of sweet corn or maize. But that's it. No mixed particles, no hemp, no tares, no tiger nuts, no nuts at all. Just that's about as close to particles as you're going to get. A couple of cans of sweet corn. So, like I say, nice short and sweet. That's the bait I've brought for this trip. Okay, so it's Wednesday morning, the trip, so just over halfway. And just give you a recap of where we are and what's occurred. So far out in open water, I've had 4 fish, 29 and 3/30s to 38. 2 of those at night and 2 of those early morning, sort of in the central zone. So people don't know, there's basically like an old riverbed that snakes its way down the length of the lake. The lake's probably about a mile in length and varies the width from maybe 200 yards to 350 yards in width. So it's quite a long, narrow lake. And so obviously they're up and down. There's a deeper end by the facilities, by the gîtes and the lodge, and then right at the bottom end where I'm sort of 3/4 of the way down the lake is the shallow end, where obviously the water leads down into a river. And that's where obviously in the summertime, which it is now, is where that's where the fish tend to hold up. Now I've been trying, think of ways to try and get a day bite, and I was speaking to my wife about this the other night. I've been fishing a bay round to me right. I've got a bay there. The deepest is about 4 foot, and a lot of it is about a foot of silt. But there's a little pocket of fish that keep drifting in there, and I did the first 2 days and nights in there and that, but I was just struggling with the craze. I'd gone round in there and I had like a stick trying to find some firmer spots for when I was going to cast, because if I'm going to cast into a foot of silt, you just don't know what your chances are of actually getting a bite. So I was trying to find some firm bits, and there was there is a firm bit through the middle. It's not always firm, it can silt up and then it firms up, so that's where and it was probably only a couple of rod lengths off where I kept seeing this group of fish milling around, so I thought, good chance that they'll find the bait and that, but I'm not sure if they did, because nothing occurred. And I just kept winding in, just have the plastic bait wraps around the hard hook baits. These are baits, the hard hookers and so on that we can buy. And then wrapped, and they were still just, all I was getting back was the plastic rings, or maybe like a burger of a boilie. So eventually I decided yesterday morning, once the morning bite phase had gone, I'd wind them in and put 2 into the bay. And I boated them out there, and then I could just drop it into the soft silt where the fish were milling around. I did spook them. I knew there was a good chance that I'd probably do that. There was 4 or 5 fish there, and all the cloud of silt come up and they disappeared off. But it was about 7 o'clock, so I thought if I just leave it there all day, 12 hours, hopefully they'll drift back. They were there Saturday, they were there Sunday, and obviously yesterday was Tuesday, so I thought it was a good chance. So that's what I did. I just dropped the rig in down where they were, put a little handful of baits round, and then just slowly but surely, because it's flat calm, no wind, luckily, drifted straight back to the rotics. There's a lot of weed and that, and if you don't get it straight, then it'll catch all the weed and just bow wave and snake around and that. So I wanted it nice and tight, and then just drop that on the alarm. And then the other one I just fished off the near corner, where I had seen the odds, not a lot of activity, but I've seen 1 or 2 heads showing around there. So they do visit on this corner as they come round me and into the bay and then across, or they come from the shallow end and round the far corner of the bay in and tug along the far side. And that's where these fish are really. They're the far corner of the bay, where I keep seeing just a little group, but it's not the same group either. So on the Saturday there was an orange koi in there, probably about 35-40 pounds, and then on Sunday there was a different group of about 5-6 fish, and the orange koi wasn't there. So also it's definitely an area where fish like to frequent. And eventually about 6 o'clock, I say what, 10-11 hours 8, eventually the rod whacked round, and then it got caught round weed, and the fish was trying to charge out of the bay. One of the line was just it was taking line, caught round this weed. So and eventually I've had to just kept pumping it, just jadding, people who know, fishing weedy lakes, they like that, just and just kept doing that, and eventually got it to the weed bed and that, and obviously the fish must have freed itself, because it's not really thick weed, it's only 4 foot and a foot of silt, so it's just little lie-lone weed, and obviously it came out of it, and then suddenly the fish just gone straight out the bay. So yeah, I was happy to have had a day bite, and it's only low 30 for French standards. That's nothing, but I was just happy that it actually paid off. There we go. First one out of the bay to the right, 33 chunky mirror, which is about to flap any second now, I think. Yes, absolutely roasting. It's about 30 degrees. Bit of an odd one, all kinked back, but I'll take it. Yes. Get it in. And I was going to do the same today, but they've started spawning again. I think this is maybe the 5th or 6th. I've seen little pockets going on, little groups here and there, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. There's been the odd little group, but this morning I think there's 4 different areas I've seen them. There's a group between 4 and 5. There's a little group in this bay. There's looks like quite a fairly good group of fish in front of swim 13, and then right down the bottom shallow end, it's just madness down there. They're proper at it, and they were at it last night, and they're still going now. And I've not seen a thing in front of me, not a bubble, not a nose, nothing. So I think the majority of the lake are at it. Nothing. So this is the first night or morning that I've not had a bite, and like I say, I think it's just basically because they've got other things on their mind. Well, it shows what I know, folks. Just saying to camera, Wednesday morning, not seeing a bubble, not seeing a fish. They're all at it. Ain't gonna get a bite. Rod rattles off. Just shy of 30 pounds, not a monster, but I've got to show you after saying that. There you go. 29.5 pound. And I thought I wasn't going to get nothing today. Oh, what a dumpy fish. Oh, I'm happy with that though. Couldn't make it up, could you? Big old common. 45. Wait, just stop shaking. 45.12, I think. Saving it until the last minute, Friday morning. Got a proper unit here. There's a fish in here called a common called the Beast. Goes 70 plus. Well, the shoulders and the depth of this, it's like the mini Beast, but it's still just a bonkers common. Absolutely amazing creature. Just shy of 46. Let's see if we can get her up for the cameras. Now, look at that. 45.12. 3 AM in the morning. It's too hot. The water's like bath water. so I'm not waiting till the morning. These fish are too precious for that. Came good old complex tea, 20mm wrapped, and a 14mm orange complex tea pop-up. So snowman rig, 18 wraps, 65 metres, 70 yards, to a new spot. See the odd fish show out there. So. And I think with that, let's turn around for the other side, and then we'll get it back, I think. Like I say, what an amazing creature. Just the shoulders on it. It's bonkers. Absolutely mad. I hope this footage will do her justice. Like I say, those shoulders there above her head. And that's the other side of her. Happy days. Yes, 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 yes. Thank you, thank you. So this is the last fish of the trip. So I had 3 on the Friday morning. I had the 45 at 3 a.m, the 30 at 6 a.m, and this one 7 a.m. 34-pound nice chunky mirror. And this, they all come to the new spot at 18 wraps. I'd bombed a couple of kilos out, and they all come to Snowman's 20mm complex tea with a 14mm barrel orange wafter. Right, so I just thought I'd take you through my lead setup system for my approach on this lake. For anyone who's been here, you'll obviously know all the rules. So this is really for people who've not been here but are thinking of visiting the lake. So lead core leaders, fluorocarbon leaders are not permitted on this lake. So obviously rig tubing, or I guess bare line, naked line, I guess is acceptable. It's not in the rule, but I think the vast majority of people would use tubing. And for people, like I say, not aware, it's quite a light coloured bottom, sort of sandy, light coloured brown, muddy, silty, all over. There's a bit of weed here and there in the margins, not much in open water. But it's a light coloured bottom. So with that, I've chosen a light coloured lead. So that's the sort of coloured lead that I've chosen here. 4-ounce pair with a 6mm ring. So I don't have the swivels. So helps reduce the tangle casting, and also the hooking ability. The fish just feels it that much quicker. So I think quite a lot of people have cottoned on and are using this sort of setup now. The lead clip itself is the ESP lead clip and lead tubing with a size 8 QC swivel, quick change swivel. Now this ESP lead clip is the one without the serrated I can't recall it now, tail if you like, that you attach the lead onto. So it's a smooth one, so the lead will eject a lot easier if needed for the weed in the margins, pads, etc. And then I've got a length of Corda anti-tangle tubing. I think it's khaki or clay, and that is around 12 to 15 inches, 30 to 40 centimetres. And this is just the normal anti-tangle tube, and it's not the dark matter, the lead one. I thought it just seems a bit cumbersome for me. I quite like this one. But what I do to overcome it, so I think the thoughts are with the lead, obviously it'll sit on the bottom, you don't get the air bubbles in the tubing holding it up, except if you're doing a tight line, of course, then you can't help it. But I have a semi-slack, so I'm hoping that this will be on the deck. But what I do just to help, so if there is any air bubbles or anything like that, I just put some lead putty on the end of the tube in there, and that's what I use. Just make sure that the whole tubing is on the deck, basically, and that's my approach that I've used on this lake. Basically, nice and simple. Nothing, nothing out the ordinary, but it's a change to the lead core or the fluorocarbon leaders that I'd use back home. Just what I'll show you. It gives you an idea, if you're coming to this lake, what to do. And also just make sure, because when you get this material, it's all coiled up in the pack, so make it all up, and put some old rigs on or whatever on the rods, all made up, so it's nice and tight, in your rod holder before you come for a couple of days, so then you've got nice straight tubing. It's not all kinked up and curled or anything. So when you get here, it's perfect, ready to go. It's GoPro time. Let's go and have a look at the facilities here, shall we? So as we first come up, this is the where you book in, check in. This is the tackle shop, restaurant where they'll serve food. You can order it up and they'll come and deliver it by boat to your swim at 6 o'clock. They've also got breakfasts as well, but you can only pick that up here. And if you notice the opening times, it's only 9 to 11 and 4 till 5. That's it. So just bear that in mind. Also Monday mornings are closed as well. So if we then head over here, the ponds are drained down at the moment. Step up these steps here, nice and handy sign which tells you what's here. Yep, good old basin food freezer for everyone. So if you're a freezer bait man like me, you're good. And then if we come up to toilets and showers, so this building here is one of the sheets that you can hire out. Obviously someone's in there, so we won't go in there. That's obviously where you can wash all your pots and pans and whatnot. If we come in here, so we've got a ladies and gents toilets there, see, all nice and clean, lovely jubbly. And then you've got showers. You've got a shower here. And basically you get a token, €2.50, and obviously that kicks in then. I don't know how long it will last, but it lasts long enough for me anyway. Obviously sink and that to wash and shave and so on.